Right now, while you are watching this video, your WhatsApp is processing messages in the background. You are not touching it. You are not looking at it. But it is working. It is downloading. It is decoding. It is preparing previews of photos and videos that people sent into your group chats while you were busy doing something else. And hidden inside that automatic, invisible background process is the exact opening that hackers are using right now to get into phones exactly like yours without you ever making a single mistake. I need to show you something important before this video ends. A setting. Actually, several settings. Settings that are turned on by default that WhatsApp never told you about in plain language, that are sitting inside your phone right now, making it vulnerable in a way that most people will not discover until it is too late. I'm going to show you exactly where they are, exactly how to turn them off, and exactly why it matters. But first I need to tell you what is actually happening, because understanding the problem is what makes the solution stick. This is not a scare story. This is not a theory. This is documented, verified, and happening to real people in real countries right now. And the reason most people do not know about it is that it does not look dramatic when it happens. It looks like nothing at all. Let me tell you about a man named Omar. Omar is 34 years old. He lives in a mid-sized city. He works in accounting. He is not a journalist. He's not a politician. He is not someone who considers himself a target for anything. He uses WhatsApp the way almost everyone uses WhatsApp. He has a family group where his parents send good morning messages every day. He has a work group where his colleagues share project updates. He has a neighborhood group that was created during a local construction dispute and never really got used after that. He has a school parents group, a gym group, a group from his university days that is mostly silent except when someone gets married or has a baby. Omar is the kind of person who considers himself reasonably careful with technology. He does not use the same password for everything. He knows not to click links from strangers. He has heard of phishing, and he thinks he would recognize it if he saw it. He considers himself more security aware than most people he knows. He is not wrong about that, but being more security aware than most people is not the same as being safe. And what happened to Omar had nothing to do with passwords or phishing or clicking suspicious links. It had to do with a setting he never knew existed, in an app he trusted completely that was turned on by default the moment he installed it. Omar never clicked a suspicious link. He never downloaded a file from a stranger. He never gave his password to anyone. He never did anything that any reasonable person would call careless or reckless. And one afternoon, sitting in his office, he got a call from his bank about a transaction he did not make. By the time he understood what had happened, someone had accessed the banking application on his phone, read the OTP verification codes that came through his messages, and transferred money out of his account. Not a huge amount, enough to hurt. The investigation that followed led to a simple conclusion. Somewhere in one of Omar's group chats, a malicious media file had arrived. WhatsApp had processed it automatically. And in the fraction of a second that processing took, someone had found a way into his phone that he had never knowingly opened. Omar did not lose his life savings, but he lost money. He did not have to lose. He lost weeks of stress, and he lost the feeling that his phone was a safe private space. That feeling, once gone, does not come back easily. Now, let me explain what actually happened to Omar and why it could happen to you in language that does not require a technology degree to understand. WhatsApp has to process every message that comes into your phone. That is just how messaging applications work. When someone sends you a text, the app processes the text. When someone sends you a photo, the app has to decode the image file to display it. When someone sends you a video, the app has to handle the video file. When someone sends you a voice message, the app processes the audio. This processing happens automatically in the background, constantly. It happens so that your notifications look right, so that your previews load, so that your chats feel fast and seamless. You never see this processing happening. It just happens. The problem is that inside this processing layer, there are vulnerabilities, pieces of code that handle specific file types in specific ways that, under specific conditions, can be manipulated by someone who knows exactly what they are doing. A hacker who understands one of these vulnerabilities can craft a file, something that looks like an ordinary image or a video or an audio file, but is actually designed to break the processing engine in a very specific way. When WhatsApp tries to decode that file, the engine encounters something unexpected, and in that moment of confusion, the hacker's code gets to run. The technical name for this category of attack is a zero-click exploit. 0 clicks. You do not tap on anything, you do not open anything, you do not download anything intentionally. The attack happens because WhatsApp tried to process a file, not because you did something wrong. The processing is automatic. The vulnerability is in the processing. The attack is invisible. Let me use an analogy to make this even clearer. Imagine your WhatsApp is like a very efficient mailroom assistant. Every time a letter arrives, the assistant automatically opens it, sorts it, previews it, and files it before you ever walk in to check your messages. This is efficient and convenient. But imagine if someone figured out how to Mail a letter that, when the assistant opens it, releases a gas that knocks them out and lets the sender walk into the building unseen. You never touched the letter. You never asked anyone to open it. The assistant opened it because that is what assistants do automatically. The attack worked through a process you delegated to a machine and forgot about. That is exactly what a zero-click exploit through WhatsApp's automatic media processing does. The assistant, in this case WhatsApp's processing engine, opens the file automatically. The file does something the assistant was not designed to handle. And in the confusion that follows, something gets into your phone that you never invited in. And group chats make this dramatically worse for a very specific reason. In a direct message between two people, you know exactly who the other person is. You have their number saved. There is a relationship. But in a group chat, especially a large one, you might be sharing a space with people you have never met, people whose numbers you do not have, people who were added by other people who were added by other people in a chain of connections that you have no visibility into. Any single one of those people, or anyone who gained unauthorized access to anyone, of those people's phones could send that crafted file into the group. And WhatsApp would process it automatically for every single member simultaneously. Security researchers call this a spray attack. You do not need to know who specifically is in the group. You just need to be in it. Send the file, let WhatsApp do the rest. Every person in the group with the vulnerable settings enabled is potentially hit at the same time by the same attack. Now I need to tell you who is doing this. Not because I want to make you paranoid, because I want you to understand that this is real and it is not going away. The most publicly documented cases involve companies that build and sell what they call surveillance technology. NSO Group, an Israeli company, built a product called Pegasus that used exactly this kind of WhatsApp vulnerability to install itself on the phones of journalists, lawyers, human rights workers, and activists across multiple countries without those people ever knowing. WhatsApp itself confirmed this. Meta, the company that owns WhatsApp, sued NSO Group. That lawsuit produced documents that described in uncomfortable detail exactly how the attack worked and how many people were affected. Paragon Solutions, another company in the same industry, built a product called Graphite that WhatsApp also confirmed was used against its users. The targets in the Paragon case included journalists and members of civil society, organizations in multiple European countries. But let me be specific about the scale here, because the numbers matter. In the NSO Group case alone, researchers identified over 50,000 phone numbers that were targeted using WhatsApp vulnerabilities. 50,000. These were not all journalists or politicians or activists. The majority of people on that list were ordinary people who happened to be connected in some way to someone that a government or criminal organization wanted to monitor. A family member, a business associate, a neighbor. The targeting was not always precise. Sometimes it was about reaching the person adjacent to the actual target. Sometimes the tools were used for purposes that had nothing to do with national security and everything to do with financial crime, business espionage, and personal vendettas. But here's what I need you to understand about these stories. When these tools are developed, they do not stay exclusive to the governments and intelligence agencies that first purchase them. The techniques get studied, they get adapted, they get copied. The criminal hacking community watches what the surveillance industry demonstrates and builds cheaper, rougher versions that get deployed against ordinary people. Not journalists, not activists, ordinary people with bank accounts, business information, personal photos, and private conversations that have value to someone willing to steal them. The trickle-down effect from sophisticated targeted surveillance to mass criminal exploitation is one of the most consistent and most disturbing patterns in the history of cybersecurity. It happened with banking Trojans, it happened with ransomware, it happened with phishing techniques, and it is happening right now with messaging application exploits. So when I tell you to change these settings, I am not telling you that a government intelligence agency is targeting you specifically. I'm telling you that the tools and techniques that intelligence agencies pioneered are now being used by people who want your banking credentials, your business information, your personal data, and your private conversations. And those people are not selective. They spray. They send exploits into large groups and collect whoever they hit. Let me now walk you through every setting you need to change and exactly how to change it on both Android and iPhone. I'm going to be specific enough that you can follow along on your own phone right now while you're watching. Please do not save this for later. Do it now. Later has a way of never arriving. The first and most critical setting is automatic media download. This is the setting that most directly creates the vulnerability I described. When automatic media download is enabled, every photo, every video, every audio file, every document that arrives in any of your WhatsApp chats is downloaded to your phone automatically the moment it arrives. You do not have to tap on it. You do not have to open it. It downloads. And the moment it downloads, WhatsApp begins processing it. This is the window that zero-click exploits target, the automatic processing of a file you never chose to open. Turning off automatic media download means that media files are not downloaded until you personally tap on them. This puts a human decision between you and the automatic processing. If a malicious file arrives in a group chat, it sits there undownloaded, unprocessed, harmless, until you choose to tap on it. And if you do not recognize the sender or the context, you simply do not tap on it. The attack never reaches the processing layer because the file never gets downloaded. Here's exactly how to turn this off on Android. Open WhatsApp. Tap the three dots in the top right corner of the main screen. Tap Settings. Tap Storage and Data. Look for the section called Media Auto Download. You will see three categories listed underneath it. When using mobile data, when connected on Wi-Fi, and when roaming, tap on each one of these three categories individually. Inside each one, so you will see checkboxes for photos, audio, video, and documents. Uncheck every single box in every single category. When you're done, all three categories should show no item selected. Close the settings. You have just closed the most important door. Here's exactly how to do the same on iPhone. Open WhatsApp, tap Settings in the bottom right corner of your screen, tap Storage and Data, find the Media Auto Download section. You will see the same three categories. Tap each one and deselect photos, audio, video, and documents. Make sure nothing remains checked. Confirm your changes and close the settings. I know what you're thinking. Now I have to manually tap every photo and video to make it load. Yes, you do. And I want to address that directly because it is a real trade-off and you deserve an honest answer. The automatic download feature makes WhatsApp feel faster. Photos load before you even look at the chat. Videos start buffering before you tap them. It feels seamless. That seamlessness was designed to make the app feel better. It was not designed to be safe. It was designed before the extent of zero-click exploit risk was fully understood. The convenience cost of tapping once to load a photo from your family group is approximately 1 second of your time. The security benefit of that one tap is that it eliminates the primary attack surface that this entire category of exploit depends on. 1 second per photo is a very reasonable price for meaningful security protection. The second setting you need to check is linked devices. WhatsApp allows you to connect your account to other devices, your laptop, your tablet, another phone. This is a legitimate and useful feature, but it has a security implication that matters directly to this conversation. When an attacker successfully exploits a WhatsApp vulnerability on your phone, one of the first things some of them do is silently add a linked device to your account. This means that even after you discover the problem, even after you update your app and change your settings and think you have fixed everything, they still have access through their linked device. They can read every message you send and receive going forward, silently, without you knowing, without any notification on your phone that someone else is reading your conversations. Here is how to check your linked devices on Android. Open WhatsApp. Tap the three dots in the top right corner. You will see linked devices near the top of the menu. Tap on it. A list will appear showing every device currently connected to your WhatsApp account. Go through this list carefully. If you see a device you do not recognize, tap on it and log it out immediately. If you see a device labeled with a location that is unfamiliar or a timestamp that shows recent activity that you cannot account for, that is a serious warning sign. Log out every device you do not actively use and every device you do not recognize. On iPhone, open WhatsApp and tap Settings in the bottom right corner. Linked devices will be visible directly in the main settings list. Tap on it and perform the same review. Log out anything unfamiliar. Log out anything inactive. Keep only the devices you know and actively use. After you clean your linked devices list, make a habit of checking it periodically. Once a month is reasonable. It takes 30 seconds and gives you visibility into whether anyone has quietly attached themselves to your account. The third setting is about who can add you to group chats. This is the setting that directly controls your exposure to the spray attack I described earlier. By default, WhatsApp allows anyone who has your phone number to add you to a group chat. Any person. Any stranger. Anyone who got your number from a leaked database, a business card, a public listing, or any of the dozens of other ways phone numbers circulate in the world. Once they add you to a group, you are inside that group's conversation and exposed to whatever arrives there, including exploits sent by other members. WhatsApp added a control for this, and it is one of the most important security features the application has ever introduced. Here is how to set it. On both Android and iPhone, open WhatsApp and go to Settings. Tap Privacy, tap Groups. You will see three options: Everyone, My Contacts, and My Contacts Except. Right now, it is almost certainly set to Everyone. Change it to My Contacts. This means that from this moment forward, only people whose numbers you have saved in your phone's contacts list can add you directly to a group. Anyone else who tries to add you will be prompted to send you an invitation link instead. You will receive that invitation link as a message. You can read who is sending it and what group it is for, and you can choose to accept or ignore it. You are in control of which groups you join. not strangers. If you want an even higher level of control, select My Contacts Accept, and then go through your contacts list to specifically exclude any contacts you do not fully trust from being able to add you to groups. This is the most restrictive and most protective option. The fourth setting involves your visibility information: last seen, online status, and profile photo visibility. I want to be clear that these settings do not directly create a technical vulnerability the way automatic media download does, but they matter for a different reason. Attackers who are planning a social engineering approach, meaning they want to manipulate you into doing something rather than exploit a technical flaw, use your activity patterns as intelligence. If they can see when you were last online, they know your schedule. They know when you are asleep. They know when you are active and likely to respond quickly without thinking carefully. They know when you are likely to be distracted or rushed. This information makes them better at targeting you. Go to Settings, then Privacy. Set Last Seen and Online to Nobody. Set Who Can See My Profile Photo to My Contacts. Consider turning off Read Receipts as well, which prevents others from seeing when you have read their messages. These changes reduce the behavioral intelligence available to anyone studying you as a potential target. The fifth area is not a setting, it is a habit. And it may be the most impactful thing I can tell you today. Go through your group chats right now and think critically about each one. How many of those groups have members you have never met? How many were created by someone you barely know? How many are large community groups where the admin is a stranger who runs a local page or an online community? How many are groups you joined for a temporary purpose that ended months ago and have not left yet? Every group chat you're in is a potential attack surface, not because the people in it are malicious. Most of them almost certainly are not. But because you cannot verify every person in a 100-member group, and neither can the admin, and neither can WhatsApp. One compromised account in that group is enough to send an exploit to every other member. The practical habit is auditing. Spend 10 minutes today going through every group chat on your WhatsApp. For each one, ask yourself 3 questions. Do I actually need to be in this group? Do I trust the people who manage it? Am I getting genuine value from being here? If the answer to any of those questions is uncertain or no, leave the group. You can always be re-added later if you change your mind. Leaving a group costs you nothing. Staying in a group that becomes a vector for an attack on your phone costs you everything that is on it. Pay particular attention to groups that are large, groups where many members are strangers, groups that were created for a temporary purpose and have gone mostly quiet, and groups where the admin is not someone you know personally. These are the highest risk categories. The 6th area is WhatsApp updates. This one is simple, but people consistently underestimate it. When security researchers discover a vulnerability in WhatsApp and report it to Meta, Meta's engineers fix it and release an update. The update contains the fix. If you are running an old version of WhatsApp, you are running a version that contains the vulnerability, even though a fixed version already exists and is available for free. Every day you delay updating is another day you are exposed to an attack that has already been patched. Check your WhatsApp version right now. On Android, open WhatsApp, go to the 3-dot menu, tap Settings, tap Help, and tap App Info. You will see the version number you are currently running. On iPhone, open the App Store, search for WhatsApp, and look at whether an update is available. If there is one, install it immediately before you do anything else. Then go into your phone settings and turn on automatic updates for WhatsApp so that every future security patch reaches you as fast as possible. There is an important nuance here. Updates do not protect you from 0-day vulnerabilities, which are vulnerabilities that have been discovered by hackers but not yet reported to or patched by WhatsApp. There is always a gap between when a vulnerability is discovered and when it is fixed. During that gap, even an up-to-date version of WhatsApp can be vulnerable. This is why the other settings I described matter so much. Automatic media download disabled, linked devices monitored, group ad controls set to My Contacts. These structural protections reduce your risk even during the windows when updates have not yet addressed a newly discovered vulnerability. The 7th area I want to cover is 2-step verification. This is a layer of protection that does not directly address the 0-click exploit risk, but it addresses a different and very common attack vector. WhatsApp? 2. Step verification adds a PIN that is required whenever someone tries to register your phone number on a new device. This protects you against SIM swapping attacks, where someone convinces your mobile carrier to transfer your phone number to a SIM card they control, and against scenarios where someone tries to move your WhatsApp account to a different device. Enable 2-step verification by going to Settings, then Account, then 2-step verification, and following the setup process. Choose a PIN you will remember, but that is not obvious. Add a backup email address in case you forget the PIN. This takes 3 minutes to set up and protects you against a category of attack that has stolen access to WhatsApp accounts from thousands of people. Now, I want to address a question that some of you are thinking. If WhatsApp has so many vulnerabilities, should I just stop using it and switch to something else? This is a genuinely reasonable question, and it deserves a direct answer. No messaging application is perfectly secure. Signal is widely considered more privacy-focused and has a smaller attack surface because it has fewer features and less complexity. Telegram has its own security issues and is in some ways less private than WhatsApp despite its reputation. iMessage has had its own vulnerabilities over the years. Every application that processes messages has the fundamental challenge that processing creates attack surface. The practical reality is that WhatsApp has the people you need to talk to. Your family is on WhatsApp. Your colleagues are on WhatsApp. Your community is on WhatsApp. Telling you to switch to Signal is good advice in theory and almost impossible advice in practice for most people. What I am telling you instead is how to use WhatsApp in a way that is meaningfully safer than how you are probably using it right now. The settings I have described do not make WhatsApp perfectly secure, nothing does, but they close the most well-documented and most actively exploited attack surfaces. They make you a harder target. And in the world of cybersecurity, being a harder target than the person next to you is genuinely protective. Let me give you the complete checklist now. Everything I have covered in this video in order so you can work through it without having to rewatch. Step 1. Open WhatsApp, go to Settings, then Storage and Data. Under Media Auto Download, turn off automatic downloading for photos, audio, video, and documents under all 3 connection types. When using mobile data, when connected on Wi-Fi, and when roaming, nothing should be checked when you're done. Step 2. Go to Settings, then Link Devices, or the 3-dot menu on Android. Review every device listed, log out anything you do not recognize, anything you are not actively using, and anything with recent activity you cannot explain. Step 3. Go to Settings, then Privacy, then Groups. Change the setting from Everyone to My Contacts. This prevents strangers from adding you directly to group chats. Step 4. Go to Settings, then Privacy. Set Last Seen and Online to Nobody. Set Profile Photo to My Contacts. Consider turning off read receipts. Step 5. Spend 10 minutes auditing your current group chats. Leave every group that you do not genuinely need to be in, especially large groups with many members you do not know. Step 6. Check your WhatsApp version and update to the latest available version immediately. Turn on automatic updates so future patches reach you quickly. Step 7. Go to Settings, then Account, then 2-step verification. Set up a 6-digit PIN and add a backup email address. All 7 steps together take less than 15 minutes. 15 minutes to close doors that you probably did not know were open. 15 minutes to make your phone meaningfully safer than it was when you started watching this video. I want to close with something that I think matters beyond the technical details. The reason these attacks keep working, the reason people like Omar keep getting hurt by something they never saw coming is not because they are careless or uninformed in any general sense. It is because the people who build these tools count on most users never looking closely enough at their settings to understand what they have quietly enabled. By default, default settings are designed for convenience and engagement, not for security. The automatic downloads, the open group invitations, the linked device access, all of it was set to on by default because it makes the app feel better and keeps you using it more. Your security was not the first priority when those defaults were chosen. Your engagement was. This is a pattern that repeats across almost every popular application and platform you use. The default settings are almost always the settings that maximize your engagement with the product and maximize the data the company can collect about your behavior. The settings that maximize your privacy and security are almost always buried deeper, require more steps to find, and are turned off by default. This is not an accident. It is a design choice. And the responsibility for finding those settings and changing them falls on you because the companies are not going to walk you through it. What I showed you today is what that looks like in practice. 7 settings and habits inside WhatsApp that are either turned on by default in ways that create risk or that are turned off by default in ways that reduce protection. None of them are prominently featured in WhatsApp's onboarding process. None of them are explained in plain language in the app. They are there, available to you, but buried deep enough that most people never find them on their own. Knowing that changes the equation. You are not powerless here. You have settings you can change, you have habits you can build, you have the ability to make yourself a significantly harder target without giving up the ability to use WhatsApp to stay connected with the people who matter to you. And there is one more thing I want you to think about before you close this video. Omar, whose story I told you at the beginning, did not just lose money. He lost his sense of privacy. He lost the feeling that his phone, a device he carries everywhere, that knows his location at all times, that contains his most personal conversations, his financial information, his family photos, his private thoughts, was his own private space. That feeling, once broken, changes how you relate to your phone permanently. It creates a low-grade anxiety that follows you. Awareness that the device in your pocket might not be entirely under your control. That is not a small loss. That is a meaningful reduction in the quality of your daily life. The 7 steps I gave you today will not eliminate that possibility entirely. Nothing will. But they will meaningfully reduce it. They will close the doors that are most commonly used. They will make you a harder target than the overwhelming majority of WhatsApp users who have never thought about this and whose settings remain exactly as they were on the day they installed the app. Do the checklist. Share this video with the people in your family groups and your work groups, because the security of a group chat is only as strong as the least protected person in it. If one person in your family group has auto-download enabled and is in a dozen groups they never check, that vulnerability touches everyone connected to them. Security is not individual, it is collective. The more people around you who understand this and take these steps, the safer your shared digital spaces become. The settings are waiting. Your phone is sitting right there. Start with step 1.